Hey, what's up? It's Joe back with a Git video. Today we're just going to talk about a couple of things. Well, actually a few things. One is going to be Git Merge. Second is going to be Git Merge with the squash flag. And third is going to be Git Rebase. What the is that? I'll tell you. But before I do not forget to hit that bell, wherever it is, to get those notifications so you know when I'm releasing the next videos. And also, if you're watching, please go ahead and subscribe. I'm really trying to get my subscribers up to 1,000 one day, hopefully someday soon, maybe not next year, like this year. So help me out with that. I really appreciate it. And with that being said, let's just go ahead and get started. So we're going to talk about Git Merge with the squash flag, and then Git Merge with the rebase. So what is that? Okay, so I'll explain that. But before I do, if you're new to Git, like really new, and you don't really understand all of Git, then what you should do is look up. You don't have to keep looking up. What you should do is just pop up and let's click on that video that's up there at the top, somewhere up there in space. When you click on that, it's going to take you to like one of my initial beginner videos for Git. Excuse me, I've been drinking water, I promise. It's going to take you to like the beginner versions of Git, and you can watch that and then get up to speed on that. And then once you're done with that and you feel comfortable, come back over here and then we'll start talking about this stuff again, because I'm not going anywhere. I mean, you can play this video 1,000 times. It's always going to say the same thing. That's how videos work. That's pretty interesting. So with that being said, Git Merge. So Git Merge is basically going to just take your changes and merge them. Who would have thought Git Merge merges your changes? And also what it does is takes all of your commits and merge them. That's a good name. Whoever came up with that is pretty intelligent. Like Git Merge makes a lot of sense. And then there's also Git Merge -- squash, which is just a flag for Git Merge. And what that does is say, okay, I'm going to merge all your changes. So say for instance, I had the master branch, right? And I was doing some stuff on master, and then I branched off of master and started doing some stuff on feature, but master is still going on and on and on. So I've got a bunch of other changes that went into the master branch while I was still working on my feature change, because my feature change is like really complex and I have a lot of work to do, and I just can't get it done as fast as everybody else to get stuff pushed to master. So I'm a little behind. So what merge with the squash flag is going to do is say, okay, well, I'm not going to worry about all the commits that happen in the master branch after that. I'm just going to actually just go in and just go ahead and take one final commit, whatever you want to call it, and that'll be your commit. So it actually doesn't merge everything. It takes certain commits. Let's actually look at the definition. So let's look here, right? So let's say git, if I can type, let's say git, what do we call it? Merge. And let's see, help, right? And let's look for squash. Making me hungry. Squash sounds good right now. So it says produce a working tree in index state as if it was a real merge happen, except for the merge information. So it doesn't care about the commits. I said that. But do not actually make a commit. And when you do the squash, there's also that difference there. It doesn't actually make the commit. You end up making the commit later. And then it moves the head or record to cause the next git commit command to create a merge commit. So that commit is like just a single one commit, and it's a commit for the stuff without showing you the other branches commits. Did I confuse you? Probably did, because that is confusing when you read it out loud. Okay, so, and also with that, we're going to do a Git Rebase. So the Git Rebase is actually going to just say, you know what, if I'm on the master branch and I'm doing all of this work, blah, 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 blah. And then I'm doing the feature branch and I'm doing all this work, blah, 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 blah. And then, you know, so I'm going to say, okay, well, what I'm going to do is say, when I do a Git Rebase, even if the master branch end up having all this stuff happen, like say for instance, this was the master branch and it went all the way down here, and my feature branch was still somewhere up here. It's going to say, okay, well, that's fine. I'm going to just take the master branch, put it all together, and just stick your stuff on top of it. So in the log, it's going to look like you actually came in after the master branch, even if stuff was happening in a different order. It doesn't really go by date time. It goes by okay, I'm going to look at what you had at the point you branched off a master. And then what I'm going to do is just say, okay, take everything that master has now, even if it's new stuff that you don't have, and make it seem like you branched at that point. That's also weird saying out loud. Like, this stuff can get really confusing. That's why I love examples. And guess what? It's time for some examples. So what I did to make this a little bit easier and try not to make it as confusing is I did 3 different folders, right? I have a Git Merge, which is there. I have a Git Merge Squash, which is there. And I have a Git Rebase. And if you're following me, you're probably guessing that Merge is going to do a merge. Merge Squash is going to do a merge with the squash flag. And Rebase is going to do a rebase. I had to think about it. I almost forgot. Okay, so now we got that all out the way. And my corny joke said, you're probably like, this guy is so silly. So what we're going to do is look in here. And right now there's nothing. See, we have nothing. So what we're going to do first is do the git merge. We're going to say git log, git init to initialize it. And then once we have that initialized, we're going to go ahead and do a touch initial file. Okay, git add, git commit, initial file, git log. So right now we have the initial file that we just created and we committed it. And that's the date and time and all of that good stuff. So now we're going to say we're going to go to our new branch. We're going to say git checkout branch and call it feature. So now that we're in here, we can do the git log, which should match as it does. It has an initial file. And so now that we're in here, we're going to say, okay, well, now I'm working on some stuff in feature, and then master is doing his own thing because I'm the feature guy. Master, I'll catch up later. All right, so now that we're doing that, we're going to say this touch feature file 1. Okay, I'm going to add that. I'm going to commit it. Feature file 1. Okay, and we're going to get log. Now we have the initial file and the feature file 1. So what else do we want to do? Okay, so let's just go back to master. Okay, so we can show you how all this stuff works. And now that we're in the master branch, let's just say we did a new file in master and we added it and then we committed it. And then we do the git log. See, you have the initial file and the master file 2. This is the master branch. Okay, so now that we have that, so basically what's happening is master branch is going past us in the feature branch. It's having more stuff been pushed. So now it's not where we branched off from. It's ahead. So now if we go back to git checkout and go to the feature, and we still have the regular log, the initial file and the feature file 1. Let's just say we want to add in a new file and just say feature file 2. Okay, and then we add it again and commit it. Okay, and then we do the git log. Oops, can't spell. And now we have initial file, feature file 1, and feature file 2. So now that we have this, in the master branch, we have the initial file and we have that master file 2 commit. And in the feature branch, we have the initial file and then the feature 1 commit and then the feature 2 commit. So let's do a git merge and let's git merge with master. Okay, so when you do a regular git merge, it's going to pop up in this area, like whatever your editor is. Mine is Vim because I love Vim. And I might put another video up that talks about Vim because I just love Vim. But I'm not going to get on Vim because I'll talk about it all day. But so now we have that. It's pretty much telling us to put in the commit message. Because I'm being lazy and I just don't feel like typing, I'm just going to just go ahead and just leave it as is. And then now if I do my git log, I can see I have the initial file. This is a feature branch, by the way. I have the initial file. I have the feature file 1. Excuse me. I have the master file 2 that was done in the same time, like the timeline is correct. I have the master file 2. You have 2013, then 39 seconds, 59 seconds. And then the feature file 2 was done after that. And then after that, I did the git merge, which did that commit message, merge branch master into feature. Okay. So now you have all that for your git log. Now let's say, for instance, we did these same steps and we did it on like a different folder directory, but we did a git merge with the squash. I'm going to really try to do this the same way. If I don't do the same steps, don't blame me. So we have the git init, and then we're going to say touch initial file, and then we're going to do git add, then git commit, initial file, and then we do a git log. So right now we're in the master branch like we were before. We're going to go ahead and get out of that. We're going to say git checkout branch feature. We're going to say touch feature file 1, git add, git commit, then message feature file 1, then git log. Now we have the initial file and the feature file 1. Okay. Now we're going to go back and check out master. Oh, that's not it. And then we're going to say touch master file 2, git add, git commit, master file 2, git log. Now we have the initial file and then master file 2. Okay. So now we're going to go back to feature because master is now ahead of feature, and we're going to go git log, and we have those things. We're going to go ahead and add another file. Just say touch feature file 2, git add, and then git commit, and then git log. We have the initial file, feature file 1, and feature file 2. So now, you know, everything is happening the same way it did when we did the regular git merge. But we're going to do something a little bit different. Instead of doing git merge by itself, we're going to say git merge and then master. We're going to add in this flag, the squash flag. So what's going to happen here? As you can see, it didn't pop up in the editor asking for a commit message. And it's actually went ahead and merged all the files. So if I do a list, I can see my master file actually got pulled over, even though like I didn't do a commit or anything. Like it got pulled over and like everything was merged. So, but if you get the log, nothing has been committed yet. So what I want to do is just say git commit and just say merge master into feature. And now if I do my git log, I can already see it's different. So it has the initial file, it has the feature file 1, and it has the feature file 2, and it has the merge master into feature. Something is missing here that was in the other one. So what's missing is it doesn't have the commit from the master branch. It's like it just doesn't care. It has the files, but it doesn't care about that commit. So if I were to go back and do a git log, this is on the merge. As you can see here, I have the initial file, and then if you look at the merge with the squash, I have the initial file. Then the merge again, I have the feature file 1. The merge with the squash, I have the feature file 1. And then the regular merge, I have master file 2. There is no master file 2 here. Although I did get all of the records, I don't have that commit message. And then I have feature file 2, which picks back up here. And then here you have that merge that it asks you to put in. But in this case, you actually just put in whatever merge you put it in once you do your commit. And so say for instance, like in this case, say for instance, you're working and you didn't want to have that extra commit when you did the merge. You just want to keep working. It wouldn't show that. And then you want to commit later to commit all of your changes. So it's a little bit different, and it could be a little bit cleaner when you do the squash because it doesn't carry over a bunch of histories, and also make you do that extra commit where you may not even want that in your history. Okay. So now let's see what it will look like if I do a rebase. So a rebase is basically how I said it takes everything from master and then takes your stuff and then sticks it on top of it. So let's try it. Okay, so I'm gonna try to do this a little bit faster so I can save some time here. So let's say git init and then just say touch initial file, and then let's say git add, git commit, and let's say initial init file, and then git log, so you can see you have the initial file. Then let's go and then check out branch feature, and then let's say touch feature file 1, git add, git commit, and then feature file 1, and git log. We have the initial file and the feature file 1. This is following the same steps that we've done before. Let's go and check out master, and then let's say touch master file 2, git add, git commit, master file 2, and then git log. Okay, we have the initial file and we have the master file 2. Just so far everything has been the same. Now let's go back and check out feature again, and let's say git touch feature file 2, and git add, git commit, feature file 2, and git log. Okay, so we have the initial file, feature file 1, feature file 2. Again, everything is still working the exact same way as it did before. So what we're going to do different is the Git Rebase. So Git Rebase and master. It didn't ask me for anything. It said it's rewinding head to replay your work on top of it. So basically it's saying it's going to rewind everything, and it's going to apply your feature file 1 and feature file 2 on top, but it's going to look at the master branch and almost make it seem like you branched off of that when you really didn't. So when I look at the Git log, I can see here I have my initial file and then I have my master file. But what's weird here, because really I created the master file 2 after I created the feature file 1. But if you look at the Git log, it shows the master file 2 first, even though the timing is correct. So it just takes everything, like I said, and sticks your changes on top. So it looks like you branched off from master when master file 2 was done, when you really didn't. And you have your feature file 1 and your feature file 2. And right now, everything is committed. If I do my list, like everything is good. If I do the Git status, it's clean. There's nothing to show. So now let's do a Git log for here, and let's just compare the 3. Okay. So this is my Git merge, my regular Git merge. I have my initial file for my Git merge, initial file for my Git merge with squash, and then my initial file for Git Rebase. But then for the Git merge, I have feature file 1, and I have feature file 1 for the Git merge with squash, and then master file. There's a difference. And like I said, it went to the master file. And then if I look at here for the Git merge, there's the master file again. But then if I look at the Git merge with the squash, there is no master file. It's not showing that commit, even though it has the changes. And if I look at the part 3, there's a feature file 1, then the feature file 2, and there's the feature file 2 here. And then it has that extra commit here. Here, it just has the commit, like whatever you committed for the merge squash. And then here, there is no extra commit. So it kind of depends on what you want and how you want it. So one key thing to know about this is do not, and I stress, do not do this once your changes have already been pushed up. Like if everything is local, then you can do this kind of stuff. But once your changes gets pushed, you can't like go in and start changing the history and logs once people have started pulling from that repository, because you're going to mess up history. You're going to piss a lot of people off. And if you work with these people, you got to see these people every day, they are going to be pissed and you're going to know it, and it's not going to be a good look. So just be careful with it. It is a powerful tool, but be extremely careful with it. And just to finish this off, just so you can see what it would look like if I actually did everything in the master. So right now we're going to merge, and I'm just going to go back to master. It's going to say Git Merge Master. Okay. And well, not Git Merge Master, Git Merge Feature, because now we're going to pull the feature into master. Okay. And then for here, can't type. What am I doing here? We're going to say, go back to the master branch, and we're going to say Git Merge, and we're going to say feature, and then squash. So now we'll go back and look at it later. And then while we're here, since we're on the rebase, we're going to say git checkout master and then git rebase feature. So now let's look at the different ones. Okay. So here, this is the master branch. We have the initial file, the feature file, we have the master file, and we have the feature file again, and we have the merge branch into feature. Okay. And if we go here, so now if we look at the merge squash and we do the git log, you see we only have the initial file and the master file too. All of those commits that we had in the all those different commits that we had in the feature branch are gone, although we do have all the files. So it really depends on what you want, because when you do a git squash, you lose all of the commits from the branch that you're trying to merge into, or the branch you're merging from. You lose all those commits. So now if we go to the rebase, and if we look at the log, we have our initial file, the master file, and then the feature file 1 and the feature file 2. So with the rebase, you keep all of your logs, but it just changes the order. It puts one before the other. And And then for the squash, you're going to lose all of the commits that you did for the other branch. And then for the regular merge, it just shows you everything. And that's pretty much it. And I hope I didn't confuse you. I hope all of this made sense. And again, please like, subscribe, and hit that bell to get those notifications. And with that being said, until next time, peace out and be safe.